Hey friends, so I have a challenge for you. I'm gonna call it a 90-day challenge, and I'm gonna tell you why why I'm proposing this and how I came up with this. Just this morning, I'm drinking my coffee, listening to a Dave Ramsey podcast. I still listen to some of Dave's stuff occasionally, and one of the Ramsey personalities, Dr. John Deloney, said something, and it stirred me a little bit, and I actually wrote it down. I'll read it to you. He's talking to a man who had borrowed some money, I think, from family, one of his family members, I think a sister. And it wasn't that much, a few $1,000s, but he was hemming and hawing and trying to repay it and making excuses and so forth. And finally, Dr. John comes on and says, look, man, I'm about to change your life. This is what you need to do. You need to pay this off in 90 days, and he makes this pitch for how much one could get done if they put their mind to it and using the time frame of 90 days. And he says, you have almost fractured family relationships because of a problem that can be solved in 90 days. He says that's ridiculous because you are circling around like you don't know what to do. Man, solve the problem in 90 days. Most of our health problems can be solved in 90 days. A great number of our mental health challenges can be solved in 90 days. Relationships can be healed in 90 days if someone will just do it, if someone will just do the work. Now, you and I know, of course, that means applying the scriptures and praying and being obedient to God and getting everybody on board to be obedient to God. But his point was, if we bear down and do what God tells us to do, you can significantly shift your household, your relationships, etc. in 90 days. And so I'm proposing a 90-day challenge where all of you who are a part of our church or who are friends of our church join me. Now, it's the end of May, and in the next 90 days, it'll be the end of August. So we have June, July, and August. And right now there's a lot of fear in the land. There's a lot of trepidation in the land. When's the next virus coming? Monkeypox, etc. And we have a couple choices we can make. We can use the summer to, walk in fear or just be slaves to the news. Of course, you can vacation some too, and that's always a healthy thing. But you can take the path of fear and just laze away the summer. Or we could use the next 90 days to really move some things forward. This is personal for me. Some of you know that I wasn't feeling that great. The early part of the year, I had some gastro stuff going on. When I start to feel better by the grace of God, I had lost weight when I was feeling not so good. And then I got on the scale this morning. I'm like, I gained a good chunk of it back. So I have some personal goals here to get done in 90 days. I really want it to be a time where my family reconnects with family worship, where I get some weight loss and get in better shape, where I do some writing, where I get some things done, where I move some things forward. And I wonder if maybe you feel the same. At the start of every year, we publish a goal sheet. And at the end of this year or the beginning of this year, we did the same thing. The CRC, for example, 2022 goals worksheet in a few areas. Faith goals. What do you want for your prayer life, for your Bible study life, for your devotional life? Your own humility before Christ. What sins are nagging you that you still haven't been able to get defeated? What are some goals, if you will, for sharing the gospel or just more mindset towards sharing the gospel and making disciples and serving your community? This is the sheet in front of me here. Some of you all may remember that. What about your family goals? Catechism, education, 90 days and you want to change the education of your children. Well, what could you do in the next 90 days to plan for homeschooling or private schooling or just a better overall plan to make sure they're not being indoctrinated in wrong directions? Finances, how about your debt reduction? Did you slip back? Did you go back into debt? Are you investing? What are your goals there? What could you do to move that forward in 90 days? Maybe you have to get on the scale like I did this morning, which I'd been avoiding, by the way, for the last several weeks because I knew it was going to be bad, and it was. But, maybe it's pulling those bills out of the drawer or dusting off that budget. What could you do in the next 90 days to glorify God? Your field, your educational goals or your vocational goals. What could you do to move the family forward in the area of making money and earning and being productive in the kingdom? And then finally, your fitness goals. How many of you want to get that blood work straight? How many of y'all are tired of buying new clothes, bigger clothes, right? Do you want to come with me for the next 90 days and make it a fun summer? Have some fun, but be productive. So I'm proposing that you join me. Come on with me for 90 days and we'll hold each other accountable here in the comments and on our church website. We'll have an app by then that we can hold one another accountable in the 90-day challenge part of our church app. And so come on and join me for June, July, and August of this year. And let's see what we can get done for the glory of God. This is all for Christ. This is all for his glory. This is all to be better in every area of life unto the glory of the Lord. So we thank you, and hope you join me. Let's go.